Welcome to the most must-see NWR7 talk show in history. Welcome to The Rundown. I'm Cody Dzis. I finally got some co-hosts with me. I got Nate Garala, Zach Barone, and Dylan Phillips. This is going to be a very fun adventure that I will take with you guys. I cannot wait. Make sure you guys follow the Instagram at NWR7_ The Rundown and subscribe to the YouTube and like this video when you get the chance. Topics that we're going to cover today: the swim team and how they've been doing so far to start off their season and their upcoming matches. And then we're going to talk about boys basketball, how they've been doing, and we're going to interview star Levi Delaney, captain of the team. We're going to get all the information that we need from him, followed up by the Q&A. Each of these guys got a question to answer today, so that will be fun. And we're also going to have Levi stick around to answer a question, so that will be fun. But let's get right to it with the swim team. They lost 93-90 in their very first meet to Woodland, and it was their first regular season loss since February 19, 2016, and a 96-89 loss to Holy Cross. So, with that being said, how the heck can this happen to such a swim team that was doing so well the past few years?
To add to that, Cody, I'm pretty sure I was told from several of the members on the swim team that most of their starters were not attending the meet because of previous trips.
Yeah. Several of their swimmers were caught up in the band trip. Ashton Morrell, Alex Beauchene, Colin Armaza, just countless of their top swimmers caught up, and that really hurt them. And you can see it was a close match, so those couple of good swimmers really could have changed the way it went.
I also heard Ryan Malloy got hurt before the swim even started.
Oh, really? I had no idea about that. Phillips, what's your take on this?
Even with this one loss, I feel like it shouldn't even count as a loss. I still feel like the swim team is dominant in the Berkshire League. I don't think we're going to lose another meet for the rest of the season.
To add to that, Woodland is not even in the Berkshire League.
Correct, yeah.
They're still undefeated in the Berkshire League technically this year.
That is a very good point. Broken. So they are 1-1 this season. They did beat Nonawag in their last meet. And this is actually very interesting. I was very surprised by this, but very impressed. Cassidy Stoutler re-broke her own record for the 100-meter butterfly with 1 minute and 8 seconds for a time. That is incredible. And Ashton Morrell won all of his races in the win against the Chiefs. So with these great swimmers and divers on this team, how do you even comprehend if you're an opponent of Northwestern Swim? What do you think about when you're entering this, Nate?
Honestly, it's going against the Ravens this year in the playoffs or something. They're good. You're going to have to play well. Our swim team's probably record-wise one of the best sports in our school for a long time, and they're dominant. So other teams just have to know that, and they have to be ready.
Zach, what's your take on this?
I mean, we have a lot of really good swimmers, so there's not really much you can do. You just have to try and outwork them, but we work harder every day.
That is very true. Dylan, do you think that this team can win the BL one more time?
Of course they can. We got a strong group of returning swimmers, and our diving team is surprisingly good this year. So
I think this will be pretty good. Upcoming events for them: they have a meet Friday against Hotchkiss, and they have a meet Saturday versus Chappaq. Both of those you might want to go check out. They're both home, so I suggest you guys go to the Winston YMCA to check those out, because I think they'll be very, very good meets. Coming up next, we're going to interview Levi Delaney, who is going to tell us a little bit more information about the boys basketball team, but we're going to run down some stats before that. The Q&A is going to be later on in the video. Coming up next on The Rundown. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to The Rundown. I'm Cody Dzis. We got Nate Garala, Zach Barone, and Dylan Phillips with me, having a really good time here. Now, big topic right now to talk about, boys basketball. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do the rest of the season. So they've started out 2-4. They beat Litchfield, then they lost 4 straight. 3 of those games, though, were out of league games, and they played pretty well, just in losing efforts, which is unfortunate. But they just won last night against Housatonic. Clayton Maloney, breakout star, 14 points. He was 5 of 7 shooting. He had 4 3-pointers made in that game. Levi Delaney, who was the captain of the team, had 14 points and shot 6 of 12 from the field as well. And here are the league standings. The Chappaqua Spartans are 5-0 currently. Terryville Kangaroos are second with a 3-1 record. Gilbert Yellow Jackets are 2-1 at third. Nonawag Chiefs at 3-2. Wamogo Warriors at 3-3. They are 500 after losing to Terryville last night. Thomaston Golden Bears 2-3 at sixth place. Tied for seventh, Litchfield Cowboys and Northwestern Highlanders at 2-4, and then Housatonic Mountaineers 0-5. I don't think they're going to make any progress. That's just my opinion. We could see whatever the heck happens, but we have a very special guest now to introduce to you on the show. He is the captain of the boys basketball team, point guard number 3, Levi Delaney. How's it going, Levi?
It's good.
Have a seat. Welcome to the show. Your
Thanks
very
for
first
having me.
feature.
Thanks for having me, Cody.
All right, so I gotta ask right out of the gate, what are your thoughts on like the early rough start to the season, and what do you think went wrong?
Well, I mean, most of the games we like started out good and like played close games. Like for example, the Chappaqua game, we were up 20 after the first quarter, and then we kind of like lost our energy and momentum, and yeah, then it kind of went downhill from there. And that's how it was in the SMSA game too. So was the New Fairfield.
All right, so what are your thoughts on the Housatonic last night, and what do you think is going to happen with the rest of the BL right now?
I think it was a good win for us just to get back on track and like get our confidence back up. But the league is like it's really competitive. Like as you saw, Terryville beat Wamogo last night, and like Chappaqua came back and beat Gilbert again. Well, not again, but just beat them.
Those are both close games.
Yeah.
So, how do you believe the team has performed throughout this? How do you think it's going to perform the rest of the season?
I think we'll get better. I don't think we're doing that good right now. I mean, we have spurts, but we can't get it all together for 4 quarters. So that's all we need.
All right, so there's obviously the Gilbert versus Northwestern game Friday night at 7, and you're facing Hunter Smith, who has 28 points per game, and Dylan Crowley, who has 18. What do you think are the keys in your mind to stopping these huge scoring threats and win at Gilbert?
Well, I mean, they're going to get their points. Like, I mean, they're great scorers, so you kind of just got to contain them. You can't let them go off for, like, 40 points or something like that. And we just, as a team, like, we got to have good offense, and we got to rebound, especially because they can crash the boards, too.
All right, thank you, Levi, for answering those questions. We're going to keep you around, though, because we have the Q&A coming up next, and you actually have a question to answer. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. Q&A up next. Welcome back to the Rundown, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cody Dzis with Nate Garala, Zach Barone, and Dylan Phillips. We have Levi Delaney here, star of the basketball team, number 3, captain. You're going to answer a question for us, but we have a bunch of questions to answer and that we need to get done. So, first question, I actually have to answer this. Is the boys basketball team in any danger of missing states? That's a very good question. I honestly think that they need to execute very well the rest of the season. I think as long as they can get as many rebounds as possible and as long as they can move the ball pretty well, have good chemistry throughout the rest of the year, and shoot pretty well. Obviously, some people have bad shooting days, but I truly think that this is going to be a team that can get in the States and actually can go pretty far. I'm very confident in our boys. All right, Dylan, you're up.
All right, so my question is, how about a shout out to our only female wrestler, Janice Williams? That is actually false. There are 4 female wrestlers. We have Lily Schwartz, Janice, and the Topper twins. Coach Felino always says how the wrestling team is the hardest working team in the entire school, and in my opinion, these girls work even harder than us guys because they have to come over a hurdle of someone that's much stronger than them that they have to face. And the CIAC this year is holding the first all-girls state tournament, so I have a feeling that at least one of our girls is gonna get first, second, or third place in that tournament this year. So I'm happy to see them on the team.
That should be very exciting. Nate, you're up.
All right, so my question is, who do you think is the best defender on our boys basketball team and why? Now, there's two good ways to go about this. Like, you have your big physical defenders like Joe and stuff who lock down the paint, but then also you have like your smaller like shooting guards and point guards like Cam Mulligan, who's got that like physical side from his former football days, former teammate of mine. And I know that he plays physically and always has. So honestly, in answering this, I think I'm gonna have to go with Cam, just because it brings that level of physicality to the basketball that sometimes you don't see even at the professional level.
That's very true. Cam is a good defender, and it does really depend on where you're talking about on the court. All right, Zach, you're up.
My question was, who do you think is the best Berkshire League player right now? So, coming from a Northwestern perspective, this is kind of difficult for me, seeing I only watch Northwestern games. So, but I have seen some highlights from other players, and like, as you see up here, Hunter Smith has 28.6 points per game. So, I'd probably have to go with him. He's a really great player, great friend of mine, teammate for soccer, known him for a while. He's a really good player, but that's nothing against you, Levi. You're a great player. And that step back as well last night. We were going crazy after that. But I'd have to say Hunter. He's a really good friend of mine and a good player.
That is up for debate, though. I mean, Hunter is playing really well, and I give full respect to him. But there are other players around the league I would consider, especially Chapagzo and Hibbert. He's having a year. He's a walking bucket, in my opinion. All right, Levi.
So my question was, why do you think attendance is so low for girls basketball games? Well, I mean, I went to one game. Like the boys basketball team went to one game. They played Chapag, which is like a big game, and I thought there was a bunch of people at that game, like just as much as the guys' game. So I can see why, like, if it's like a blowout game, not many people want to go to that. It's not like really competitive, but I'd say like when they play the good teams like Chapag or Boozy, they get a lot more fans.
I have a feeling it also has to do a little bit with the sexism there, just because I know I've heard a lot of people say in the past that boys' sports are more entertaining than girls' sports, and I don't think that's fair. I mean, you guys have watched my videos. I've said before that I give full support to the girls and everything. So I honestly want, like, everyone out there, every Northwestern fan, listen to me right now. I want you guys to go out and go to every single home game left that we have this year, and go to the Gilbert game this Thursday, because it's going to be huge that we need you guys there.
I completely agree with that, Cody. And the girls are doing really well right now. They're 7-0, so who would
Yeah,
not
they're
want-
red hot.
crazy.
Why wouldn't you go to see a team that's red hot? I mean, realistically, this team is the best in the Berkshire League, and I don't think there's anyone stopping them, but I truly think that if you're not going to watch a team be on fire the entire season, then you're missing out. You're missing out. You're wasting your money on other things, probably things that are going to kill your lungs, but realistically, this is a huge thing. I really want people to come support the girls the rest of the year. All right? Levi, I want to thank you for being on the show.
All right,
I really
thanks for having
appreciate it.
Thank you, Levi.
From cameraman Reiki Weirdsma, Dylan Phillips, Nate Garala, Zach Barone, and the rest of the Rundown crew, that'll do it for this episode. Be sure to follow the Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube. Road to 200 subscribers. We really need it. I'm Cody Dzis. Peace.